Welcome back, learners, to our interesting course based on the theme Rudimentary Principles and Practices of Managerial Economics. I am Dr. Shantanu Saurabh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, DAV PG College, Banaras Hindu University. So, in this module 10, lecture number 50, which is based on forms of market and perfect competition, we will be basically covering these three topics, these three important topics today. First will be firm's equilibrium under perfect competition. If you remember the last session, in the last lecture, we discussed about the TRTC approach, that was total revenue and total cost curve approach. Today we will be discussing the MRMC approach, which is known as marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. So we will be discussing this. Second we will be discussing will be equilibrium of the firm in the short run in perfect competition, short run, and third we will be discussing the equilibrium of the firm in the long run in perfect competition. So, one by one we will be taking all these three important topics. Now, firm's equilibrium under perfect competition, MR and MC approach, which is also known as marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. So, marginal revenue and marginal cost approach, according to this approach, a firm achieves the state of equilibrium when the following these two conditions you are able to see here is fulfilled. First condition, when marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, which means MC is equal to MR, and second condition here is that MC cuts MR from below. I am repeating, these two are important conditions to be fulfilled. The first condition is that the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, which means MC is equal to MR, and the second condition here is that MC cuts MR from below. So, firm's equilibrium using MR and MC approach, you are able to see the diagram. Here on x-axis the quantity is shown and on y-axis the revenue and cost is shown. Now, at this point also you are able to see this point P, so you are able to see the diagram, the firm's equilibrium using MR-MC approach. This is the point Q here, this point is Q. Now, we will try to understand the firm equilibrium under MR-MC approach. As can be seen in the figure, AB represents the MR, the AB here is the MR, you are able to see here, this AB line represents the marginal revenue as well as the AR, that is average revenue comes of the firm. So, AB here is MR as well as AR, you are able to see here. Then both MR and AR are horizontal line and parallel to the x-axis because the price is constant under perfect competition, which means both MR and AR are horizontal lines. You are able to see MR and AR is horizontal line to x-axis. Why? Because the price here is constant, it does not change, as we have already discussed under perfect competition. The MC denotes the marginal cost curve of the firm, which is U-shaped. You are able to see here MC here, which is U-shaped. The MC intersects with MR at point P and Q respectively, which you are able to see. The MC intersects the MR, this is MR, the MC intersecting at point P as well as point Q, which is here. Before point P, MC is greater than MR, which shows that the firm incurs losses, which means before point P here, before point P, before this point P is here, the marginal cost is more as compared to the marginal revenue, which shows that the firm is incurring losses, which means before this point the firm is incurring losses. Thus, the firm is not in equilibrium before the point P, which means it is not on equilibrium before the point P. In the same way, after point Q2, you are able to see here, after point Q, this is the point Q, marginal cost is more than marginal revenue and the firm is not getting profit, which means after Q also the firm is not getting profit. Here also the firm is not in the state of equilibrium. So, P cannot be the point of firm's equilibrium because at P only the first condition of MR is equal to MC is achieved. Here at point P only one condition is achieved, which is MR is equal to MC, but the second condition at point P is not completed, which tells that MC cuts MR from below. MC here cuts MR from below, which is not completed at the point P. The second condition of equilibrium, namely that MC cuts MR from below, is not satisfied at P. We have discussed. The firm will have the advantage of increasing its profit by producing more beyond P because MR is greater than MC. The firm will achieve the equilibrium point or state at point Q here. This is the point Q here. This is the point Q. There the firm will attain equilibrium or output OM1, or output here OM1. You are able to see OM1 because the point Q, MC is equal to MR. At point Q here you are able to see MC is equal to MR. This is MR, and also MC is cutting MR from the below. The second condition, that MC is cutting the MR from below. So this point Q is the equilibrium point. So people normally get confused that either the P point is the equilibrium or the Q point is the equilibrium. So this is the equilibrium point because both these conditions, that is MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from the below, is achieved here. I hope all of you must be clear with this. Now the next topic, perfect competition, equilibrium of the firm in the short run. We will be discussing about short run now. In the short run, a firm can earn abnormal profit, normal profit, that is zero profit, or even abnormal loss, which means in the short run the firm can attain all these three, that is abnormal profit, normal profit, or even abnormal losses, because the production cannot be increased or decreased in such a short span of time. As you are aware, it is of short duration, so production cannot be increased or decreased. The profit earned or loss incurred by the firm can be calculated by finding out the difference between average revenue and average cost of the firm, which means the profit the firm is generating can be calculated or estimated by finding the difference between average revenue and average cost of the firm. There can be three conditions of the firm's equilibrium in the short run, which we are going to discuss one by one. All these three conditions we have already told. The first condition, which is the situation of abnormal profit for the firm. As you are able to see, the abnormal profit, it occurs when AR is greater than average cost, which means average revenue is greater than average cost. At the point of equilibrium exists where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. You are able to see here, it occurs at that point where AR is greater than AC, and the point of equilibrium is at that point where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from the below, as we have already talked about. Here the industry is price decider and the firm is price taker. We will be discussing the point where the abnormal profit is attained. As can be seen in the figure, A shows the equilibrium position of the industry under perfect competition. At point E, the DD, that is demand and supply curve, intersect with each other. At point E, they are intersecting each other at this point. This is the equilibrium, giving equilibrium price OP and equilibrium quantity, that is OQ. Equilibrium price is OP and equilibrium quantity is OQ, which is accepted or taken by the respective firms. Moving to the figure B, which shows the firm's equilibrium. The price set by the industry is taken by the firm. As we have already discussed, the price is being recognized or determined by the industry and that is adopted by the firm, and it remains the same at OP. The same you are able to see here is OP. The price is taken by the firm. It does not change. This is the point OB. The AR and MR curve, that is average revenue and marginal revenue curve of the firm, is the same as the price line. You are able to see AR and MR curve is same as the price line. The equilibrium quantity OM is decided at point E. The equilibrium point OM is decided here at point P. OM is the equilibrium quantity, where MC is equal to MR, where MC here is equal to MR. You are able to see the MC is equal to MR here at this point. The difference between AR, that is average revenue, and AC is equal to PA or EB, which means the difference between average revenue, that is AR, and AC is PA or EB. PA or EB. PA you are able to see here and EB. PA is here and EB is here. That is the basic difference. So I have shown the difference between AR, that is average revenue, and average cost, and here AR is more than AC. You are able to see here the AR here is more than AC. This is the AC point. The AR is more. So PABE here shows the abnormal profit being earned by the firm. This point PABE here is showing the abnormal profit being attained by the respective firm. So that is the condition of abnormal profit. It basically requires that average revenue is greater than average cost at the point of equilibrium, where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. So this we have represented. PAB is the abnormal profit being attained by the firm. Now, situation of normal profit. It occurs when average revenue is equal to average cost and the point of equilibrium exists in the same when MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. So as you are able to see in this diagram, OP here, OP is the equilibrium price, OP here is the equilibrium price, and OQ here is the equilibrium quantity of the firm. The price here is constant and so thus is equal to the AR, that is average revenue, and MR. So this is the point where AR is equal to MR is equal to the price is constant. MC and AC, this is the MC curve. You are able to see MC curve and AC curve show the marginal cost and average cost curve. You are able to see on the screen of the firm respectively. At point E, this is important, this is point E, the equilibrium point where MC is equal to MR. MC, at this point MC is equal to MR. At point E, AR is equal to AC. AR is equal to AC also. This is the point at point E, which shows that the firm is earning normal profit or zero profit, which is a very important dimension. At this point E, the AR is equal to AC. This point E, AR is equal to AC. You are able to see, which shows that the firm is only attaining normal profit or zero profit at this point. So thus P is equal to AR is equal to AC is equal to MC is equal to MR in case of normal profit situation. So this is the point where the firm is earning normal profit, where AC is greater than AR. It occurs when the average revenue is less than average cost and the point of equilibrium exists where MC is equal to MR, we have discussed, and MC cuts MR from below. So this is the situation where average revenue is less as compared to average cost, and the equilibrium point is that point where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. As can be seen in the figure, OP is the equilibrium price here. OP, this is the equilibrium price, and OQ is the equilibrium quantity. You are able to see here, OQ is the equilibrium quantity. The price is kept constant and thus is equal to AR, that is average revenue, and MR, curves of the firm, which means price here is also kept constant, and at that point AR is equal to MR. MC and AC show the marginal cost and average cost. As we have already discussed, MC stands for marginal cost and AC stands for average cost of the firm respectively. At this point E, which is the equilibrium point where MC is equal to MR. Now this is the MC is equal to MR, and at OQ level of output, this is the OQ level of output we have drawn, AR is equal to OP, AR is equal to OP, which is this is OP, AR is equal to OP, but AC is equal to OA. This AC is equal to OA here. This AC is equal to OA, you are able to see. Here AC is more than AR by PA or PB. The AC is more than AR by PA or EB, and which represents this. Thus the firm incurs loss, which is shown in the figure APEB. APEB. This is the area where the firm is incurring abnormal loss. In the previous circumstance, we discussed about the normal profit the firm was earning at this point. Then we discussed about abnormal profit. We discussed this was the point, normal profit, and finally we discussed this is the point of abnormal loss. Now, another very important dimension, that is the shutdown point. The shutdown point, the firm will lose its fixed cost plus a portion of variable cost if the price falls or drops below the average variable cost. This is a very important thing to be understood, that the firm will lose its fixed cost plus portion of variable cost if the price falls below the average variable cost. This is the average variable cost. In other words, the loss will exceed its total fixed cost, which means the loss will be more than the total fixed cost. In this type of situation, it makes sense for the firm to shut down or to close, since it can prevent losses on variable cost by ceasing the production. So in the shutdown point, we try to understand the point beyond which the production is not possible. As can be seen in the figure, AVC curve has been drawn. This AVC curve you are able to see has been drawn, AVC curve, which denotes the average variable cost of the firm. Suppose P1T becomes the price line, this P1T becomes the price line, this you are able to see of the firm, and AVC is equal to it, AVC is equal to it. The firm should cease its production activity in the short run if the price line falls below this line, that is P1T, which means if the price line falls below this, the firm should stop or cease. This is because after this point, the firm would be unable to cover even its average variable cost. If the firm is not able to cover its average variable cost, it will be in big problem. So after this point, the firm will not be even able to cover the average variable cost. Thus point E1 here, E1, this is the point, shows the shutdown where the firm needs to stop. So in this slide, we have tried to understand what is the shutdown point. Now, the perfect competition equilibrium of the firm in the long run. Till now we have discussed in the short run what we discussed about abnormal profit, we discussed, explanation I gave you, the normal profit I discussed, and then I discussed the abnormal loss, and finally we discussed about the shutdown point. Now we are shifting to the equilibrium of the firm in the long run. The duration is changing. In long run, the firm earns normal profit, which is the most important dimension to be understood, that the firm, all the firms will be earning normal profit under perfect competition, because it can easily increase or decrease its supply of output as per the demand. So in long run, all the firms will be getting only normal profit. If the firm earns abnormal profit in the long run, which means somehow if the firm is getting abnormal profits in the long run, then it would attract new firms, new players to enter the market, which means if the firm is gaining abnormal profit, new players will be entering into the market, As soon as the new firms or players enter, the price would again fall because of the increase in the supply, and the profit will fall to zero, which means if there is abnormal profit situation in the long run, new players will enter, and as and when the new players will enter, automatically the supply will increase and the profit will again come back to the 0 point or the point of normal profit. So on the other hand, if the firms suffer from losses, then many existing firms would leave the industry, which means if the respective firm incurring losses, that many firms will leave the industry, and this will result in automatically increase in the price increase because of fall in supply, and the remaining firms would again earn normal profit, which means in the case when the firms are incurring losses, many respective firms will leave the industry and automatically the price increase will be there, and this will result in price increase because of fall in supply, and the remaining firms would again come back to the point which is the normal profit. So you are able to see in the long run, when the new players enter or when the players leave, finally the firm gets the point which is the normal profit. Thus in long run, firm only gets normal profit or earns only normal profit. The firm will achieve the state of equilibrium when profit and loss, that is LAC and LAR, long run, normal profit is equal to LAR is equal to LAC. So continuing, the profit and loss, that is long run average cost and long run average revenue. Normal profit is where LAR is equal to LAC, and equilibrium point where LMC, that is long term marginal cost and long term marginal revenue, LMC is equal to LMR, and LMC cuts LMR from the below. Now we will be discussing the diagram of it. The situation of long run normal profit, as we have already discussed, in long run the firm will be getting only normal profit where AAR, that is LAR, is equal to LAC. It occurs when average revenue is equal to average cost of the long period, and the point of equilibrium exists where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below, that is the point of equilibrium. So as can be seen in the figure, OP, this OP point is the equilibrium price, and OQ here is the equilibrium quantity of the firm. OP is the equilibrium price and you are able to see here, and OQ is the equilibrium quantity. The price is constant, here you are able to see the price here is again kept constant, and thus is equal to LAR, this is LAR, long run average revenue, and LMR, this is the LMR, you are able to see the L is added here, LAR and LMR, curves of the firm. LMC and LAC, this LMC you are able to see, LMC here, and LAC shows the long run marginal cost and long run average cost curve of the firm respectively. Now at this point E, you are able to see here, point E is the equilibrium point where LMC is equal to LMR, where LMC, this is the LMC, is equal to LMR. Now you are able to see here LMR. At point E, LAR is equal to LAC, LAR, this is the LAR, is equal to LAC at point this one, which shows that the firm is earning normal profit. At this point you are able to see the firm is earning normal profit, neither abnormal profit or abnormal loss, it is earning a normal profit or zero profit at this point. Thus in long run, price is equal to LAR is equal to LAC is equal to LMC is equal to LMR. So all the constraints are same, just you are considering all these factors in the long run. So the LAR, LMR, LMC, LAC we can talk about. So this point E provides the equilibrium, and which results into the normal profit for the respective firm. In this presentation, we have covered these three important topics, which was firm's equilibrium under perfect competition, that is MRMC approach, that was marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. Then we talked about equilibrium in the short run, and finally we talked about equilibrium in the long run. One by one we have discussed this MR approach, where we talked that equilibrium point will be that point where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. This was the point, that is point Q, the equilibrium point where MC is equal to MR as well as MC is cutting MR from below. Some people get confused from this point, but this point is the point of equilibrium. We have discussed this, and then we talked about the perfect competition equilibrium of firm in the short run. We discussed about the abnormal profit, where the industry here is the price setter that is being adopted. P is equal to AR is equal to MR, and here you are able to see the firm is trying to earn abnormal profit, which is one circumstance or situation of the short run that the firm can get abnormal profit. I told you about its explanation. Then I told you about the case of this point E, which is the normal profit the firm can earn, and both the circumstances are being covered here. MC is equal to MR at this point and MC cuts MR from below. We talked about normal profit. Then we talked about the abnormal loss. The same condition, MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. You are able to see E is the equilibrium point, and this is the abnormal loss the firm is getting. So we discussed about abnormal profit, normal profit and abnormal loss, and then finally we talked about this point, which is E1, EQ1 is the shutdown point, which decides the point below which the firm should not be producing. If it will be producing, it will be falling below the average variable cost, which will be creating problems for the firm. So in this we discussed about the shutdown point for the firm. Then we shifted to the perfect competition equilibrium in the firm in the long run. And in the long run, the most important thing was that the firm only earns normal profit. Even if new players enter or exit, the firm gets normal profit. Why it gets normal profit? Because if the firm somehow gets abnormal profit, this would attract new players or new firms to enter into the market. So finally, the supply would increase, and when the supply will increase, if somehow the firm is gaining abnormal profit, then this would attract new firms to enter. As soon as new firms will enter, the price will fall. New players will be there, more players will be there, the price will fall, and increase in supply will result into fall of the price, which will automatically bring it to the point of zero profit. On the other hand, if the firm suffers losses somehow, then many existing firms will leave the industry, and this will result into price increase because of fall in supply, and remaining firms would again earn the normal profit. So thus in long run, the firms only earn normal profit, which is the most important point to be remembered, that in long run always the firm will earn only normal profit. This has been shown through the diagram. This is the point E, where the firm will be earning normal profit. The equilibrium point will be that point where MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. You are able to see here at point E. So in long run, P is equal to LAR is equal to LAC is equal to LMC is equal to LMR. So that's all from my end. In this presentation, we tried to understand the MR-MC approach. We tried to understand the equilibrium point in the short run as well in the long run. We discussed about the abnormal profit, abnormal loss, normal profit and the shutdown point, and finally we discussed the dimensions of long run. So I hope these sessions are of use for you. You will be able to understand the concepts and use it in your life. Thank you learners for understanding these concepts and being patient with us. Hope to see you in the upcoming sessions. Thank you.